Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 22nd day of September 2020. So I've done this once, and at about 17 minutes in, when I was starting to do the geomancy rune, my screen froze. It's like, oh no. But the reading is significant for today, given that we're on, this is the day of the autumn equinox, which happened at about 6:30 this morning, which thanks to the cricket in the house, I slept through. First it was in here, then it moved to the bedroom, and then I went in there yesterday and was rifling through some things and through some clothes that I was going to get ready and do some laundry with. And I guess it escaped the bedroom. And last night, at some point, we heard it in the kitchen. And it's been affecting my sleep. So anyway, I blew right through the Mabon ritual, the autumn equinox ritual I was going to do at 6:30 this morning. I like to do it at the time of the equinox. I like to do things at the time of eclipses. It's like this little container time where also on the full moon, the exact time of the full moon, you can do a working that's maiden, mother, crone. It's these triple aspect types of things, and what was this moment of Genesis, and then what will be. You can do that on equinoxes. So I'll have to wait now till spring for the next one. But by golly, hopefully the cricket will figure out that he needs to go outside. But anyway, you just never know when your life is controlled by an itty bitty insect. I don't know. But I'm going to leave this reading the way that it is, because I think it really embodies what's happening right now, both in terms of our perceptions and both in terms of the day itself and the energy for today. At the time of each equinox, light time shifts. So we'll have more darkness now than we will have light time. And then in the spring, that will reverse, right? And then growth happens. You get the crops that come, and the flowers start growing and all of that, right? But right now we're going into the dark phase of the wheel, if you want to call it that, the dark phase of the year. And we're going to begin with death. We see death come in on his white horse. We see the rose of purity focus down into form. You can see the pentacle or pentagram there. But if you turn it this way it's pointed up to spirit. This way it's pointed down to form. And it just means that the issue that we're dealing with now is physical. We see the king over here behind my finger, dead on the ground. We see the priest there administering last rites. We see the queen and the child down on the ground. They're bereft. But over there, we see two towers. We can see the silhouette of the town or kingdom, but we see the sun rising on the scene. So the light's returning. I mean, it's a great card for the spring equinox, but it's also a great card for today, for the autumn one as well. The idea of transition and transformation in this 22 year, on this 22 day. What are we going to manifest? Are we going to manifest in spirit? Are we going to manifest in ego? Is it solely about the self, or is it about the collective consciousness of which we are all part? We have a decision to make. We see the juggler, the juggler juggling two coins surrounded by a lemniscate, a figure eight, showing the cycles again, the autumn equinox, a Degas moment. You can turn it that way. It looks like Degas, the rune Degas. But you have to decide from one thing or another. And I think that during this moment, it's basically emotion based. We see emotions in the background represented by the water. Lots of big waves. So lots of emotional unrest, lots of fear, lots of chaos. It's kind of the upheaval up and down of our emotions. And so he has to make a decision that's going to affect the foundation of things. So our life, the foundation of our life, our home, our work, our security, all of that, tradition, family, all of that is being affected. And it's causing a lot of emotional consternation. As more and more people die, we're up over 200,000 people now from the virus. We have a president who just thinks that's just groovy. It's a success, folks. Well, what's a success? That 200,000 people, over 200,000 people have died? Is that a success? You finally get someone at the CDC who sends out the truth that it's airborne. Well, yeah, if you have to wear a mask, where does your breath go? It goes in the air. Of course it's airborne. It's a Now, is it going to fly around on its own irrespective of what anyone else does? Well, probably not, but I don't know. But if you don't have a mask on, then yeah, it's going to escape and it's going to go here. And if anyone's in your orbit and you've got the virus and you don't know it, you could give it to them. It's clear. I don't get this. But at some point, we're going to have to let go of emotions. And we're going to have to get clear about all this and about what our future is going forward. And it takes strength. 8's the number of strength. This is the 8 of Cups. Cups is our emotions. But you see him walking away. They're all put in order. He's looked at them. He's like, okay. But at some point, if it's not serving you well, you have to walk away. The way forward may be difficult. You see all the rocks around, looks like the Oregon coast. But you can see he's walking uphill. He's got his staff. It represents the fire element. So he's a little exercise of will there. Because it takes will to walk away from emotions that no longer serve you. So if this is about maybe you're confused over whether or not to wear a mask, wear a mask. Figure it out. People are dying. Over 200,000 of us now. And we don't even know what the real count is. Because it's higher. Yes, children can get this. Yes, young adults get this. Yes, it causes problems for some people. Maybe not everybody, but for some people. Some people might breeze right through it. Others, not so much. They end up in the hospital, maybe on a ventilator, maybe they die. Or maybe they don't have any symptoms at all and now heart problems are cropping up. Things are happening that we're finding out. It's a new virus. And so we don't know for sure everything about it yet. We're finding out as we go along. As people recover from this, and then they start developing other issues. Their lungs have issues. They're on little monitors, little pulse ox monitors they keep with them. They have to know when it drops so they can get to a hospital in time, right? These things are happening. And it's causing all kinds of fear. It's causing all kinds of emotions, right? The emotional upheaval that we see here. People are having to cope with that now. We can't stay in that process forever. At some point, we've got to set this aside. We've got to get real about this and make our decisions that we need to make so that we have security, so that we know what the direction is forward. And it's to let go of all of this, to let go of the deception, let go of the lies. You see the moon above? It's the crone moon. Crones don't like deception. They don't like it at all. You've lived a life and you've had enough, right? And so when things are bad, we need to know the truth. But we don't know it because the people in charge won't let us know it. CDC finally comes out and says it's airborne. Yeah, of course it is. Otherwise, why would we need to wear masks? We speak, we yell, we speak louder, we whatever, right? It's not just sneezing and coughing. That gets it there quicker. But if you think it doesn't happen when you talk to somebody without a mask on, of course it does. It reaches you. It reaches the other person. wear a mask. Not just a face shield, a mask. It's just simple. I know it's irritating, but at some point, you just do it because you know what the consequences. If you've been paying attention at all, people are suffering. I read one guy said on Twitter yesterday, yeah, we just lost an hour ago. We just lost the third person in our family to this. 3 people gone. And others that are reporting that I was healthy before this. I really didn't have any real big symptoms or anything. I mean, I had it, but I did fine through it. But now I can't walk upstairs. I have heart problems. I have lung problems. So it wasn't even somebody that was really, really super sick from it, right? We don't know what this is. We don't know. We don't have a clear picture yet of what it is for people when they have it and what it is when they supposedly don't have it anymore. What all that's going to look like going forward. So we have to get very, very clear. We have to get the emotions, get control of them. And no matter how difficult it is, you can see the rocks in the way, and it sort of indicates that the road ahead isn't going to be easy. But we've got to get things in order here now. And we've got to get very, very clear on what's happening and allow the transformation of perception to take hold. If you were confused at all, get clear now. I said the same thing in the esoteric reading today. We have to get clear. We don't have any time left. Use this time in other words, you think of the chaos versus the quiet. You could look at this time as that, all right? Where now light time is giving way to the darkness. Use the darkness to get clear about things. Allow the noise to settle out and just focus on what you know to be true. Not what some idiot who just wants to get reelected tells you. He's lying. It's ridiculous that we're here. It's ridiculous, but we are. So we have to put aside the passion, put aside the emotion, put aside all of that, and focus on what needs to happen so that we can all survive all of this. Because this is nuts, completely nuts. Laguz is the rune for today. It's the 21st rune of the Elder Futhark. So we're talking flow of spirit into form. Being easy with one another, and instead of being in conflict all of the time, letting emotions settle out, letting things, kind of go back to your corner essentially, and allow some time for reflection, both on how you're seeing things and how you're experiencing things, what you feel about it all. And I think it's time to make a decision. Do we go forward in spirit on this 22-day, this 22-month, bringing an end to out of control will that's based on deception instead of truth? It's like, how many super spreader events is this guy going to have? Does he not care about the people? I guess he tells people, oh, well, it's just old people. And people with pre-existing conditions. That's all. That's all it is. No, that isn't all it is. And it never has been. I don't, I'm an empath. And I've told you this before. People who are empathic, we're like the lie detectors. We know something. We might not know what the lie is necessarily. Sometimes you got to intuit that, and I'm intuitive as well, so I can usually figure stuff out. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm busy in my own thing, and I'm not focusing enough on trying to figure it out. But the minute I start trying to figure it out, I'm going to figure it out, right? Or at least come really close. And but the bottom line is if you're empathic at all, you are like the human lie detector, and you know when something isn't right. You might not be able to discern what it is exactly. You might have to wait a while till you find that out, but you do find it out. But in the meantime, you're having to cope with all of this kind of freaky energy, where you're being lied to, but there's just nothing you can do. And it's just the worst possible feeling. We have Caput Draconis again today for our Geomancy rune. I'll show you what that looks like here. It's the head of the dragon. It's the future. I also kind of include the present moment in it. It's sort of that, again, Degas energy there, where you're right in the middle of one thing ending and another beginning. Turned around, you've got Kata Draconis, which is the tail of the dragon, or the past, or the effect of karma on the situation. The effect of, and the karma, it's usually talking about his past life, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, the outcome of a particular, decision you've made, or whatever, or experience that you're having. Whatever lessons that can be derived from any of that can also be Kata Draconis. But with Caput, you're talking about new. So in a sense, Kata would be endings, and Caput would be beginnings. I mean, realistically, you could say that. And we're just in that moment right now today where we have the ability to manifest something new, something more profound than what has been going on. So let's take that time today to think about that, to allow the dark time that's coming in now. Because it won't be light as long today. The darkness will, the sun will set sooner today, and than it did yesterday. And use that quiet time to reflect and to really take a look at what's going on, and to understand that we have been operating amidst deception of a massive scale. The truth is being manipulated every second of our lives right now. And that has to stop. It creates this massive, the big waves in the background. When you're constantly dealing with being gaslighted, because that's what this is. It's saying, listen only to me. The truth you see is not the truth. It's the abuser in the relationship who decides to do whatever and then deny it later. And it does it often enough that makes you start to question your sanity. That's what gaslighting is. Pretty soon you don't know which end is up, and a decision has to be made. When you deal with a narcissist, that's what you get. And that's what we're dealing with now on steroids. And what we actually need is the truth, so that emotions and intellect are in balance. That would be emotions is the water element, and intellect is the air element. So water and air are in balance with will, so that you don't have a situation where deception is what's carrying the moment. And that's what we've got right now. Complete deception carrying this entire moment that we're in, instead of, and preventing us from knowing the truth. I mean, can you imagine that we would be listening to a game show host over science? Because that's really what we're doing here. Someone with such a strong agenda that he's able to make the CDC say something that isn't true. We're in the strangest times of all right now. How do we get to the point? I mean, how did this happen? What had to fall away? What kind of structures had to fall away instantly for something like this to happen? And yet here we are. So allow the new beginnings, the reflection that you'll have going forward, to create a new beginning for yourself. One that's clear, one that understands the issues when you've got this collective deception, this collective con being played on the country. What it means then is that you got people that don't understand they got to wear a mask around others, that don't understand what's at stake, that believe the liar instead. We can't have that. We can't have that going forward. Enough is enough. So make your decisions accordingly. That will in the coming days, and figure out the direction we need to go. It's got to be one that's healing. It's got to be one that's honest and clear. Or I don't know where we're going to be if we don't do that. So, in any event, I guess that's it. We'll talk again tomorrow. It didn't go away this time. I don't have to do it again. So, anyhow, we'll close out before that happens. So, anyway, check out the blog over at imsteppingaside.com. This and the Esoteric Influences videos will go up there on the side panel. And they also get posted everywhere else. So, or you can just watch them on YouTube. So, anyway, click subscribe. I'd love you to do that too. And we'll talk again tomorrow. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. Wear a mask if you go outside, anywhere at all, whether you're outside or inside. Go to the grocery store, have a mask on, not just a face shield. And we'll talk again tomorrow. Blessed be.